Welcome back to Bottled Water, everybody. The Bottled Water podcast. I'm going to add a new word every now and again. I'm going to get this all the way across the screen eventually. And that's just the way that I do things. Today, we have Josh and Artemis from the Josh and Artemis show. We are doing a double feature today. We will be live on my show and then immediately after go on to theirs. So be sure to check it out and let's say hello. Well, hello.
Hello.
Hi, Tony.
Thanks for having us on the show.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I'm pushing buttons. Just let it happen. It'll be okay. So tell me what's going on. How have you guys been?
Great, yeah. We've had a bit of a quiet week this week. We had our interview last night with Tom Matt, which was interesting. Really enjoyed that one. But before that, we've kind of just been, I don't know, just trying to find new guests to have on, which will probably announce soon. And just chilling really
reached out to
this
new
week.
people.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard, like with scheduling. So
It
you
is.
know, if you don't hear back right away, you're like, okay.
Yeah.
I guess I'll just
Yeah.
the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
Oh no, scheduling it's difficult, and it's more. I don't know. I'd probably say it's more difficult if you did a lot of shows like UCR does. Like they've got to be like constantly just
Planning the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah, planning for
they
shows
had
ahead and everything.
scheduled, like at least a month in advance.
Oh yeah, because you would have known about all the scheduling and stuff, how it works. Yeah.
I helped with it.
Point.
I helped with it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just fixing this camera. But yeah, you do have to plan ahead for sure, and also plan for if people cancel.
Oh yeah.
They have like a whole chat designated to that. It's like I think it's called like last minute show cancellation requests or something like that. And it's just like a group of like a bunch of UFO people.
Yeah,
and like
That's funny.
sometimes they're like, you want to come on this show or whatever? Yeah.
Do you want to come? We need somebody right now.
Yeah. Or sometimes they'll put it out there if like they're talking about something interesting and they're like, does anybody want to join in on this panel?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's pretty smart. Like,
And that's on Discord. Is that Discord?
No, it's on Twitter, actually.
Twitter?
It's
Okay.
like a random group Twitter.
Right.
Yeah, I'm still part of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You should put your name. You should put your name like in like the hat sometimes if the need.
I probably could.
Yeah.
Honestly, they do still talk in there. I just sit back and read everything.
Oh god.
Yeah. Anyway, just enjoy the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is smart.
Yeah. In terms of yourself, then Tony, what's been going on with you for this week?
I've really just had like a simple week. I've kind of stayed away from the whole. Haven't really tweeted too much about UFOs or stuff. I've tweeted a lot about random stuff. Just like my ADD kicking in and being like, oh, look at this. Ooh, look at this. Ooh, look at this.
Yeah.
And coming off of the show of last week, having Mick West on, I was like, okay, I don't need to podcast for at least a week.
Yeah.
But it was a great show. I had a lot of fun.
Oh, it was a great show. You know, and when I watched it as well, I just wish people would appreciate Mick West
I know.
a bit more and just his angle for the topic. I think it's needed. We need some balance at times, you know, like sometimes we can, you know, we can speculate and then we go down like the rabbit hole too far. And, you know, there's people like Mick West who will kind of bring us back to earth at times, you know? So I think these people are important for the topic for sure.
Yeah. And I think one problem that we seem to run into is usually when the news is really slow, a video will come out and everybody sees the video and they're like, this is a UFO. Yes, this is it. This is proof. And then Mick West is like, no, it's this.
Yeah.
And everyone goes, okay, bird boy.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, calm down.
I know. And this is what people forget. We're talking about UFOs at the end of the day. You know, like no one knows what the hell is going on. So let's have some fun with it too. So, you know, banter on Twitter sometimes is great, but it does cross a line, so we need to be careful of that.
It does. It can quickly cross the line and just get into like this weird high school cliquey bickering thing, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I didn't miss those days. I don't want to relive any of that.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we had to deal with that on
like,
daily.
I didn't like that. So like, we just move past it.
Yeah.
Please.
Exactly.
Put on our big boy pants.
Yeah.
And big girl pants.
Absolutely. And
yeah.
I'll say that I had a phone call this week with an individual, and we are on a mission. Sorry, I'm moving my mouse. It's not connected. We are on a mission to convert Mick West from skeptic to believer. Was one of the things we talked about. You're going to find out who it was. You two know who I talked about.
I think I know anyway. I'm not going to reveal it, but I think I know who it is. Yeah.
But we will. When he comes on the show, you guys are going to be like, the chat's going to be like, seriously, how did this happen?
It's going to be a great one. Let's put it that way. It's going to be a great show.
But I think the hardest thing is not going out and saying this person's coming on my chat sometime-ish.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's better. I think it's better to wait until you get it confirmed and then announce it for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
I was just gonna joke around and say, do you know what it's like when your phone says Elon Musk?
Yeah.
It's not Elon Musk.
Yeah. I mean, that's like an interesting point. You brought up Musk there. It was on UCR. I think it was yesterday or maybe the day before. But they were taught. I think they mentioned it on our show actually last week. But I think the thing what needs to happen this year is kind of to put pressure on people like Elon Musk.
Mm-hmm.
People like that. Do you think that could happen this year if like we all came together and formed some sort of, if we come up with some sort of plan for these people, like a guideline of what this money could do? Do you think if enough people got interested and came together on that, do you think people like Elon Musk would be on board?
He would be a really hard person to get into it.
Yeah.
Mainly because he has a lot of defense contracts.
Yeah.
And an aerospace company. I don't think he really wants to talk about it.
Yeah.
And also I think it's just not even on his radar. He's got so many things that he does that why would he even jump into the UFO discussion or anything like that?
Yeah.
Because I think during his one of his Joe Rogan interviews, he completely shut Joe down. Because he wanted to show him like the Tic Tac video or something like that, and he was just like, "No, it's okay, I'm fine."
Yeah,
like totally shut. I was like, "Wow, okay."
Yeah, and it's weird to me, how he's not interested. Well, or maybe he is. He's just not publicly interested right now, but behind the scenes he might be. I don't know, but I would like to think that a mind like Elon Musk would be curious at least to even look into it.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense he would do that, but
it's possible that he thinks about it, but I don't think he sits there and goes, UFOs.
Yeah,
I'm gonna look into this.
Yeah,
and then somebody calls him and goes, "Hey, Elon, we got an issue at the Neuralink lab." And then somebody calls him and goes, "Hey, we have an issue at Giga, Texas." And then, "Hey, we have an issue down at the SpaceX launch port." Like that dude's probably just so busy all the time. I'm surprised he has time for interviews and anything else like that running those companies. And people forget that he has that boring company where they dig holes in LA or something like that.
He's building that. He's been building this underground motor, like kind of like a highway, which is under LA. That's been going on for a few years now.
Jesus.
I think he mentioned it on Rogan
They have no
3 years ago.
room on their highways anymore. That's our freeways, whatever.
Yeah.
You guys call them.
I'd like to say that's the only reason why I'll never go to Los Angeles, but
Yeah.
I want to go to LA and not drive in LA.
Yeah.
I want to go to LA.
If I could be flown around everywhere in a helicopter, I think I would go to LA. So if anybody wants to get on that, if any of you guys got a helicopter and want
We
to
could
fly
crowdfund
me around
Just
LA.
one laying around.
Yeah, you know, you just got an extra one. I lost mine. I had one, and I just forgot where I left it.
Yeah.
It was a
Same with
while
me and
ago.
my private jet. Like I forget what country I was in when I left it there.
That's the only reason why I'm here was the private jet, and I got it on it. So.
Yeah. That's what it is. Must have put it in my air garage or something.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
See,
Always forget about it, you know? It's invisible and stuff. So.
Yeah, I have a tendency to misplace my Ferrari's keys all the time. I keep wondering where I put those.
Yeah.
It's a rough one.
Shout out to Big Willie in the chat as well. We went on the show last night and met him for the first time, and really cool. Yeah, we popped on his show last night.
We opened up the chat, but then it got taken down because of copyright.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys got it.
I watched it later, and it wouldn't let me.
I think that was the Depeche Mode track. What was played?
Oh,
I'm guessing that was the reason. But
but our chat got butt rated today. Just here.
Oh yeah,
look at
all
it.
here.
So me and Big Willie have actually been sort of conversing back and forth because we're trying to set something up. But he communicates mostly through email, and I forget that email even exists.
Yeah.
So like, I'll check my email like once every month and a half, and he's like, "I don't check Twitter," and I'm like, "This is going to be a really hard thing to accomplish." But I've talked to him a few times in other podcasts. He's a really cool guy.
Oh, he's great guy.
Hey, if you want a guest on, you better, accommodate to what they like.
And his voice is made.
Yes, it's made for podcasting.
Got the best voice. In this topic for sure. It's like
him and whichever Enzo clone is watching right now.
Enzo clone?
Yeah, Enzo's everywhere.
Enzo
is in every shot.
Yeah.
Guaranteed he'll be in ours later too.
Like Santa, he's omnipresent, so
like I tweeted out that there's a warehouse of Enzo's in a bunch of rooms. They're all the same room and a bunch of clones, and he just sits there in all of UFO Twitter sphere and YouTube and just, hey guys, how's it going? And then when he needs to go live, they're just like, turn on room power for room 237.
Yeah. Turns on, the lights flicker in his eyes a little bit, turns on, and he's ready to go.
176B.
Boil him up and
176B. I wonder what happened.
His name is Clone 176B.
Yeah.
I wonder what happened to 176A.
We don't talk about A.
We don't talk about A.
No.
A was not good for anybody.
No.
For sure.
No. So, before we go way too off the rails, I don't know if you guys know this, but when the three of us start talking, it's never on subject.
No.
Never on subject. No. So if you came here for a coherent UFO discussion, you are in the wrong place.
Can you remember our first time we talked, us three together, when it was on the Twitter Spaces? When that was like months ago. But that was the first time we talked. That was really good.
That was so good. It was like the start of our friendship, really.
Yeah, I can't remember the conversation at all. But
oh God, we were so drunk and like high.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much every day. That's pretty much daily. Let's face it.
Yeah, not drunk, but high.
Yeah. Well, I was I just remember like the next day. I think we were on Amy's show.
Could have been. Yeah, you might have been right. Yeah.
Now that I think of it, I think it was Amy's show. And it was like the second half of the show when I jumped on, and that's usually like when it's already gone off the rails.
Yeah. When you're just trying to catch the moving train on.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Are you drinking whiskey?
Whiskey and Sprite.
Nice.
Oh.
It tastes like ginger ale.
Yeah.
I like ginger ale. I'm from Michigan. I like ginger ale.
I love ginger ale.
Love ginger ale.
We buy it all the time. Ginger ale, yeah.
Which one do you get?
It's just the Schweppes one, isn't it? We got.
Yeah, I don't like as much though. It's Canadian ale is better, but
Canadian dry, right?
Canadian dry, yeah. Sorry, my bad.
There's one made by who makes the gin? they make a ginger ale too.
Oh. There's I'm not sure if you've heard of it, Tony, but there's an alcoholic ginger beer from the UK called Krabby's. Have you heard of that one? Krabby's. No. That's really good. That's really good. An alcoholic ginger ale. It's really nice. Yeah, Krabby's.
I've been thinking about going to the UK at some point.
Do it.
I think we're going to go, because I already said that we're going to Peru. We're going to go see Machu Picchu this year. And then I think next year we're going to go to Egypt to go see the pyramids.
Oh my God, we were just saying we'd love to go there.
Jealous.
And then depending on the small human situation known as money pits, we might be going.
Man, save all you want and you're still going to be spending. But yeah.
But then we want to go to Stonehenge, see Stonehenge.
Yeah.
Which I guess we would have to do that in the summer, right? Because Britain's just a pretty miserable.
Cold as fuck. In the winter, it's cold as fuck in the winter. Yeah. If like the best time to go is obviously spring and the summer, especially in the summer, because it's a nice part of the UK where Stonehenge is as well. And this is the other thing. I mean, if you just Google the UK, Tony, just put in historical sites in the UK, there's so many places to visit. Like you'll be amazed at how much stuff's there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen. We want to see castles and like all the really cool stuff out there.
Yeah, for sure.
And it like just Vinny says it sucks here.
Well, it does, Vinny. Yeah, but this is because he lives in the UK. But I can appreciate it more because I've stepped out of it now. So when you look, when
you
like
live here,
yeah,
but we have historical stuff. We just haven't really looked, I guess.
Yeah, well, because it's mine.
Canada.
Yeah, it's like a bajillion coldness outside.
Yeah.
It's so cold right now outside. It hurts. Like
Josh
you open
left.
the door and you're like,
That comment there, spot on, Vinny. Josh left, it dropped 5 degrees. I'd say 6, but 5, it's fine.
Of course, my wife just texts me and she's like, "I've been to Stonehenge." Okay.
I love her.
Is your wife in the chat now?
She's watching, yeah.
Watching, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tony's wife. Yeah.
Tell her what?
Just shout out to your wife.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hi, wife. So she may have seen Stonehenge before, but I've been to Guantanamo Bay.
Right.
Wow.
What's like your thoughts on it? In terms of did like you see the cells and what the conditions are like inside the prison? Or
no, I did see the prison itself, but I didn't have any want or need to go up to it. I was actually swimming on the beach that is next to the cliff that the prison is built on.
Right.
And my takeaway from Gitmo is it was like 120 degrees the entire time we were there. It was absolute dry heat. There's iguanas everywhere and you can't touch them. And there's like 2 bars.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we couldn't leave the base. The country wasn't open at the time.
Right.
So couldn't go anywhere. And I actually got lost and took a wrong turn.
Yeah.
And I ended up at one of the gates that like a mile away is actual Cuba.
Right.
And I stopped and there's like these 2 Marines with their guns and they're just sitting there staring at me and I'm staring at them and I'm in uniform and they're in uniform and I'm just like, how the fuck do I turn this damn bus around?
You just put it in reverse. You're like, I'm just gonna.
Yeah, I was an awkward like beep, 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 slowly backing up, and they're just sitting there staring at me. I'm like, I'm going to the beach. Your life sucks. Well, a lot of stuff like that happens in the military.
Sure.
Yeah, it'd be scary.
Yeah.
Honestly.
But yeah, I would definitely not recommend going there ever.
No.
Ever at all.
I'll scratch it off the bucket list then. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, definitely don't go to the prison.
No.
I hear you.
I'll try not to get arrested.
Yeah.
As a international terrorist to the United States of America. Yeah, probably not a good idea.
I'm Canadian. They won't arrest me. They'll be
No,
like,
all you have to do is apologize.
yeah. Like, I'm sorry. I'm
I'm
Canadian.
sorry.
Like, oh, it's okay.
You know what? As well, it's not actually a myth because, like, I've been here for like a few months now, and it's not actually a myth how much Canadians apologize. Like, crazy. It's crazy.
I know, but you know what? Josh like definitely makes me notice it more. I'm like, I'm sorry. He's like, why are you saying sorry? And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Only apologize if you think you've done something wrong. Like, that's it.
I'll never need to then.
Yeah. Even if someone else thinks you did.
You have to apologize.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I know. Like, sorry.
I didn't mean to. I went a little British.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's familiar.
Which is weird because I grew up in Detroit and we used to take like these field trips into Canada across the.
California? I used to live there.
Really?
Yeah.
And so they would be like, we're going on an international trip. And of course, this was like the 80s and early 90s. After that, we were old enough. We're just like, why do we want to go across a river? That's stupid.
Especially just to start.
You come across
right Huron, it's like not much going on.
No, there's not.
That's it.
It looks nice though from what you've shown me with the
Yeah, I know it is.
It looks beautiful.
It's beautiful. Port Huron is nice.
Yeah.
Or Lake Huron, I mean. Sorry. Not Port Huron.
But it also looks really great if you're coming from Detroit and going into Canada. You're like, wow, this is awesome because Detroit sucks.
Yeah, you almost get shot and then you're like, whew, I'm safe. All Canada. Thank God. Yeah.
I'm safe. Now I can get some I can get some healthcare when I get shot.
Yeah.
It's pretty scary driving through there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Me and my girlfriends were like taking like some detour when we were going shopping and we're like, where the fuck are we? I had a really shitty car back then, so I wasn't worried like that I was showing off. Like it wasn't anything nice.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was interesting. And we were only like 18, 19. But it's fun. It was an experience.
Now I would recommend, the only big city I would ever recommend to anybody is Tokyo.
I've never been.
Always wanted to go to Japan.
Love
cool,
Japan.
though.
What's that?
I said it looks nice. Like my friends have been, but I have never been.
Oh yeah, it's extremely nice. It's a very beautiful country, and although it's a giant city and there's people everywhere, you can actually figure things out. I don't speak like any Japanese to where someone would say, "Oh, that guy can get around." No.
Yeah.
I was there with my phone doing the auto translate thing. Like, what?
I think with Tokyo, it's mostly English as well. Like, it's a bit like Hong Kong. Because I knew him. He wasn't a friend, but I knew of someone who I used to work with. He went to teach in Tokyo, or it was like a district just outside Tokyo. Can't remember the name, but he was saying that you can easily get around. It's like each sign's and it's got the Japanese sign, but underneath it's got the English sign as well, so you can get around.
Well, do you know the actual reason for that is?
No.
It's because they can't and this is, somebody will take what I'm going to say the wrong way, but they cannot read. Not everyone can read the Japanese language that are Japanese, but they can read the Arabic words.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And I found that out when I was there, and we were setting up the internet for the building that we were staying in with the Army. And I pulled up Japanese and I pulled up the characters, and the guy who was installing the internet, who is a Japanese native, goes, I can't read this, through the translator. And the translator's like, yeah, not everybody can read this. He needs the Arabic words.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Which makes sense.
It's that because of the way it's written, I guess. It's easier to understand if you're used to writing and reading Japanese. Is that the reason? Or
I think it's part of that, and you're learning to read a language two different ways.
Yeah.
So imagine if you had to learn to read English two different ways.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I speak French as well, so I can already kind of do that. Languages. And some Greek.
Well, you're in Quebec, right?
No, Ontario.
Oh,
No, I don't have like the Quebec accent.
the Quebec.
They do kind of judge you a little bit for that, like because I've worked in like where I've used French in a work setting for like 12-ish years, and like
Wow.
they don't. It depends on the person, but I've heard like I've had like coworkers where like I've had to take over the phone because their accent is too thick and we're not thick enough, and like I don't know, some Quebecois are pretty finicky.
Yeah.
But yeah. It's just like every time you're dealing with a Quebec customer, you're kind of like.
So does each part kind of have its own laws then? Is that how it works? Kind of. So does
yeah, like
does
we have
Ontario
provincial
have
laws and
different
then
laws to
federal.
Quebec? Does that make does Ontario
Some,
have different
yeah,
rules?
like their legal drinking age is 18 and ours is 19.
Oh, right.
But like they're the only province in Canada who's 18, I think.
Yeah.
Which is funny because in America it's 21.
Pardon?
In America, yeah, you have to be 21 to drink. But at the age of 17, you can join the military and we'll give you guns and automatic weapons and all this training. And then you can go fight a war. But I swear to God, if you drink 1 ounce of liquor,
you're in jail. Yeah.
Done. You are done.
But yeah, I think in the UK, it's 18 to drink in the UK. To go in the military or like the army, it's 16. You can go straight out of school once like you finish. It's called like your GCSEs, which is like the equivalent of finishing not high school, but you finish your GCSEs when like you're 16, 15, 16. And straight after that, you're allowed to go into like the army if you want to. So,
which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
Yeah, I don't think I could imagine 16-year-olds in the U.S. military. Maybe today, not when I went in. Maybe they're a lot less hard on people today. Maybe.
Yeah, well, still pretty crazy.
Yeah,
16-year-olds.
Yeah, right. Like, hey, you just got your driver's license. Here's
now,
the military.
Big convoy.
I mean, what's like the age limit? Say, for example, the worst case scenario happened. There was another war, like a world war, for example, and people had to get drafted to fight. Like, what's like the age for that? Is it just any age if it was needed? What's like the age limit?
For like as low as it'll go or as high as it'll go?
Low. As low as it'll go.
It's still 17, but it's 17. So you have to have a waiver. I was a recruiter for the Army and went through recruiting school and everything, so I know a little bit about this. You have to have a waiver signed by parents or legal guardians to join the United States military at the age of 17. And usually they do what's called a split option, where you go to basic training your junior year, and then your senior year, once you graduate, you go to your advanced individual training course.
Right.
Not junior, sophomore. How does it, freshman, whatever. It's been like 18 years since I've been in high school. I don't know these terms anymore.
Yeah.
Freshman, what's the other one? Sophomore?
Is it freshman, sophomore, junior, senior?
Freshman, sophomore, junior, senior.
There. Yeah, so I was right.
I'm not
We'll
even
just go with that.
That's just from movies. There you go. Don't say you don't learn anything from movies.
Learn so much.
Here's we watched the movie. Have you seen the movie Eternals yet, Tony? The new
Yes.
One just come out on Disney. What's your thoughts on that?
It was extremely long.
Yeah.
It was, but
Bit long.
What else did you take from it?
I thought it was cool that they kind of played into like the ancient aliens thing.
Yep.
That was like the first thing that came to my mind. I was like, whoa, they're totally playing off this ancient aliens idea with the Eternals having been there since like caveman times or whatever.
7,000 years, I think they were saying. 7,000 years have been on the planet.
And then they were there at Babylon with the, all that stuff. I was like, this is really cool, the way that they set this all up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I watched Spider-Man, and I was like, wait a minute, when the hell does Spider-Man take place? Because there's literally a freaking...
Don't spoil
Don't
too
spoil
much
it. I haven't
because
seen it
we
yet.
have not seen it yet.
No, not Spider-Man. I'm talking about Eternals.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So you know what, at the end of Eternals, when the thingy's trying to be born or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not in Spider-Man.
The Celestial.
Yeah.
Like
Basically
a god
yeah.
who creates planets and people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like they stopped that because if it actually came up, then it would destroy the planet because it essentially just takes all the power of the planet and the people.
Yeah.
Right.
The energy.
And
But
premise...
I find it interesting that like that the Eternals that came onto the planet, like I know it's a movie, but I found it interesting that like they came there to protect not so much the population, but like what was going on around the population, and kind of like this greater reason that they were here beyond us. So it was like we didn't have to know, and they've lived among like humans for so long. Not so much to protect them, but to do like their own job. But they were here among us. So it's like that could be true with aliens. They have like a greater reason for being here, but it's not us.
Right.
So
something else going on behind
there's something going on that we have like
of.
no idea about.
Yeah.
You know, I just found it interesting, like if it, you know, because I think so much that we're being conditioned. So I always kind of think of what could this be like in real life, and like how can I compare it to what's actually going on?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that you can compare to.
And there's always that theory that Hollywood is kind of like moving this CIA narrative or this secret government narrative, and that's why you have all these like meteor movies that come out at the same time. Like, did these producers or whatever all get stoned in the same room and just be like, dude, what if a giant meteor hit the world? And then they were like, okay, Michael Bay, you make the one with the big explosions, a super fun one. I'll make the serious one, and then you guys will make all the ripoffs. And they're just like, yeah, man, yeah, cool.
That's exactly how it happened. No, exactly. But there is a narrative to be to be written out in all these like movies and TVs. For sure. Yeah. For sure. Like, it's not a coincidence. I mean, even the way aliens are portrayed or how they look and things like that. I mean, it's not a coincidence, you know. But I think it's being like it's being done so far up behind the scenes that even like producers and whatever probably don't even realize it either. Like, I mean, it's probably so much higher than that, you know.
Well, it's probably you know, it would mean that, you know, the big bosses, the heads of all these big studios, you know, do they finance themselves, or do they have investment?
I think they have investors. So from what I've been told, when you see like a bunch of executive producers or assistant executive producer or whatever, that's just somebody who invested and wanted their name on the film. So that's how they end up that's why there's like 50 producers for a movie.
So many.
Yeah.
They're doing it to get royalties. Like, that's why Robert Downey Jr. was a producer in the Iron Man movies after the first one. He had it worked in so that he would get royalties off of that. And that's just how Hollywood works, I guess. Because George Lucas directed, I think, only the first Star Wars movie in the original trilogy. And then the other two were directed by somebody else, but he was the executive producer. And he maintained copyright on all the toys and all of that. Yeah. So, which was genius.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
And it's not like he's hurting for money now, because Disney's like, Star Wars.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I know. How can we maximize this franchise?
Yeah.
we talked about this the other day when we watched Eternals, but there's the Star Wars films have been signed to Disney. You've got the Alien films, the Predator series, Indiana Jones. That's 4 huge franchises under one. And the Marvel films are all part of Disney now, is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how powerful are they? That's pretty crazy.
They run the narrative.
Walt Disney.
And I'm a
Oh,
huge,
funny, even though he's dead.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of the Alien franchise.
Oh,
yeah.
same. I love the Alien movies.
So
Well,
good.
I can watch any of them, and I know a lot of people shit on anything after the second Alien movie.
The third
Like,
one's an underrated film. The third one's an
one was really
underrated
good.
film in my opinion.
Yes.
An underrated film for sure. But my favorite one's the second one. The second one's
The second one is great because it's a great action movie. The first one is great because it's a great horror movie. Like this sci-fi horror that's just like the first time you ever watch it, you're just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
It's a very intense movie.
I mean, we've talked about the films before, but like for years, I mean, I think I first watched Aliens when I was about 5 or 6, but it was by mistake. It was just on the TV, and I had nightmares for years of that movie, Aliens.
Yeah.
Like I really
scary
did.
movie,
Scary
especially when you're like that young.
Yeah, scary as hell. With like the face huggers and just, fuck, it's scary. Yeah.
And then you have Predator, which is another great movie.
Really good.
Have you seen they're bringing out a new one?
Yeah, it's called Prey.
Yeah, and it's going to be based in like ancient time, not ancient times, but when like the Indians were around, like 300 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like an origin story for the Predator, I think, or for when it first came to Earth.
They're doing like this. I think she's a Navajo warrior or something like that, and it's a girl, so that's the female lead. Yeah, and she's a warrior, which there weren't woman warriors in that tribe when you look it up, but they're doing it. They're gonna. They're gonna
I know.
It's 2022. They're doing it.
Hollywood.
They're doing it.
Right,
and the thing about it is, I'm all for new Predator movies, new Alien movies, and everything. But if you're gonna have the fucking Predator with his laser cannon and his cloak and his like giant ass fucking blades that come off of his arms
against a teenage girl, effectively, then
against the
teenage. I know there won't be, but there should only be one winner.
Yes,
clearly the teenage girl.
Yeah,
it's definitely a 7.5 foot tall, pure muscle alien that survives by hunting dangerous creatures with its plasma cannon.
Not just humans, Yeah,
absolutely. This is going to be the most realistic
sounds like
version.
She has a good chance to win.
Yeah.
Oh, all the cards are stacked in her favor.
Yeah.
Bow.
Predator does not know what's
arrow. I mean, have you ever seen an arrow with a stone freaking head on it? It's probably going to have sharp sticks.
That's a good shout by Enzo in the chat from Predator 2, the one that Danny Glover uses to drop it on the building. Yeah.
Yeah, while he tried to set off his nuclear bomb that we forgot to mention is attached to his damn arm.
Yeah. It's a great movie. Love that one.
I think this is going to be the most realistic Predator ever. I think they're going to hit all the bars on realism here. Nothing could probably top this.
What are your thoughts on the Alien versus Predator films?
I like them because they're dumb as hell.
Yeah. Dumb as hell, yeah.
They're probably the dumbest movies like that. They're especially the one produced and directed by Paul Anderson, because he's just like such a weird director to begin with, because he did all those Resident Evil movies that got exponentially worse as they went on. And they were like
talking about the second one. I'm guessing you're talking about the second Alien versus Predator film.
That was the first one.
Was that the first one you're talking about, right?
Yeah, Paul Anderson directed the first one where there was a pyramid under the ice in Antarctica. Yeah. And I watched that movie and I was like, why is this movie not fucking rated R? Because it was like PG-13. And I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And then they had all the dumb quotes, and then the lady teams up with the Predator, and she's like, let's fight the aliens together. And I was like,
as soon as that happened, the film went downhill. But I think up until that part, it was pretty good, I thought.
I did like how they like tied in like the Predators having come to Earth for centuries or whatever, and using it as like a blood sport for their younglings or whatever.
Yeah.
But I actually liked Aliens vs. Predator Requiem way more.
I thought it was great, but it was just weird how that scene in the hospital. Remember that scene in the hospital when the alien, well, I don't even know what you call it, but the hybrid of the predator and the alien when it's injecting all those eggs into those pregnant ladies.
Yeah.
I thought that was awesome.
It's hilarious, but it's fucked up as well at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be a little fucked up, right?
Yeah, it has to be. It's Predator,
Yeah, and then you got this alien. So a lot of people don't know the actual intended allegory for Alien is men being raped.
Yeah.
That is the whole idea of the premise. So that's why the face hugger forcefully injects a being into the male, and that's why the alien's head is elongated and everything like that. It is all a allegory for men being raped and impregnated.
Yeah. I've forgotten the artist. I think it's
H.R. Giger.
H.R. Giger, that's it. But if you look at his work, like not just the Alien films, but his illustrations and stuff, there, he gets all of his ideas from his dreams. So when you look at his work, he's basically able to portray his dreams onto paper. Like it's pretty amazing. Cool. Like his pictures he's done.
Well, he's got some really messed up dreams, because if you look at some of his art, let me pull some up, and then this will probably get pulled off because I'll have H.R. Giger's work on here.
H.R. Giger.
Well, let's look at a little.
You're monetized. Did we get that wrong?
Yeah, I mean, here's like a question for you, Tony, because we don't know much about YouTube, if I'm honest. Like, we're really new to how it all works. But if you're not up to 1,000 subscribers yet, so you don't have the monetization, does that mean that you can play literally anything you want before that point?
No. So there's a an algorithm that picks it up, because I've actually in top 5 videos had to fight 3 potential copyright strikes.
Right.
Interesting.
So they were soft strikes because they wanted to know why I had it in there, but you actually do have to.
Right.
I just read that. Thanks, Brad.
No, and it's funny because when you did look up, I was like, "Wow, I can see this."
Oh yeah, I can see this comment. Yeah. Shout out to Brad. It's good to see you here, man. As well.
Yeah, I don't think I can.
Really, I was like, wow.
Cool guy.
Let me.
So cool. Yeah. How's the badge?
Share this.
How's the badge today, Brad? How's the badge coming along?
Is it still in the kitchen?
Yeah.
I laugh. It's actually really cool.
It is cool.
Yeah.
So here's some of
the greatest name.
Yeah, it's a great.
It's just the greatest name.
Some of Giger's work.
Yeah, he's his work here.
So this was, I think. Why am I trying to click it on that screen, idiot? So this was like the proto alien that led to the final design.
Yeah.
But the man's artwork is
just the detail. I mean, the like the fact that he can just dream, like he's dreamed this stuff up, or and he's able to put it down on paper in such detail. I think it's brilliant.
Yes, and then he was a sculptor too. So let me make sure I don't click on anything that's potentially pornographic. There's a lot of it. The alien.
It's alien porn, so it's okay, right?
Yes, sure.
But sweetie, it was aliens. I swear.
It was aliens. It wasn't real.
That's what I said. The alien looks like a dick. Literally.
Yeah. Put it better, Brad, for sure. Yeah.
It's just such a great artist and a very twisted mind.
Yeah. I mean, there's been rumors of a new Alien movie or series for a few years now. I mean, did you see? I've forgotten his name now, but the South African director who did
Neil Blomkamp.
Neil Blomkamp, yeah, he had an Alien film all drawn up. With
Alien 5. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that one looked really cool, but they didn't make it because Ridley Scott wanted to do the Prometheus series instead. So it was
Also, Ridley Scott saw Chappie.
Yeah. Oh, that was shit. It was terrible.
Said absolutely not for having Neil be a director for an Alien movie after he saw Chappie. And I was like, yeah, Chappie was a pretty shit movie.
Crappy.
Didn't
That's what
even
it should
see
be
it.
called.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, there's a lot of really good actors, but I cannot stand Antwerp. What the hell are their freaking names? Antwerp or
Oh,
the dude and the blonde chick with the fucked up haircut. They're an actual band. Antwerp. Yeah, they're an actual band, and they are horrible, and I hate their music. And every time I see them in something, I'm just like, I want to stab my eyes and ears out.
Yeah.
Definitely not Donald Sutherland.
No, it's not Donald Sutherland. Good shout again. Yeah.
But they are making a new series for FX since Disney owns FX.
Yeah.
And I read a synopsis of it, and they're going to have the Alien series focus on androids and people.
So it's not going to be about aliens as such. They're going to be like a backdrop to the story, I guess. Is it? So it's just going to focus on AI the whole time.
Yeah, it's like AI and human modification that they're going to do the show on. And I was like, oh, so it immediately reminded me of Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
When Ian, they're in the car in the beginning in the ride, and he's like, excuse me, you do plan on having dinosaurs on your dinosaur tour?
Yeah.
Is this thing on? Because that's what I'm going to do the whole time on this alien show, that there's no fucking aliens.
Yeah.
There it is. It's called Die Antwoord.
What's coming in?
But yeah, I don't know what Disney's doing. They have Mandalorian 2.0 with Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet. Is it good? Is it worth watching?
Slow.
I haven't even seen The Mandalorian yet. I've seen the first 2 episodes.
Mandalorian is great.
Yeah.
We're going to binge watch because it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even so, my wife does not like Star Wars. And so I kind of tricked her when we first started watching The Mandalorian. I was like, hey, do you want to watch this like sci-fi spaghetti western show?
You have to sell it in a way.
Yes. And like halfway through, she's like, this is Star Wars. And I went, no.
We're like, no, it's kind of like Star Wars, the side piece.
Yeah.
It's still really good, though. Did you guys finish it, or did she give up?
Oh, no, she loves The Mandalorian.
Yes.
Yeah, she loves that. But
The Mandalorian was better. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah,
I liked it. It gave me, whenever I was watching it, it would just make me feel like I'm watching like the original Star Wars.
First
I don't
2
know.
episodes were great from
That's just the vibe I always got. It was but a good one. I don't know.
Well, I like that they're like doing these other stories and pushing out, and
me too.
Tell her it's like The Notebook except in space.
Yeah, it's exactly
it's not like The Notebook.
Notebook in space pretty much sums it up.
I can only stretch a lie so far, Brad.
Yeah, that one's a pretty big stretch.
Yeah.
I mean, he's asked another question. Did you guys see Theories of Everything's interview with that alien reporter chick? I'm guessing he means Linda.
We haven't seen it yet.
I saw
We started to, but it was like during, it was yesterday.
It was yesterday. It was uploaded.
Yeah.
So we didn't really wait.
Yes.
I did see the outfall.
Yeah.
Interview on Twitter. Which kind of brings me to another thing. What is this whole UFO-tainment thing?
And the beef with that?
It's crazy. For me, I mean, because people seem to think, I mean, it was mainly UCR who got the backlash for that one. But so basically, you know, I can't remember. I think it was UFO Joe.
It was UFO. I think it was UFO Joe.
UFO Joe. Mm-hmm. He was talking about it on like a thread a few days ago, and yeah, I mean, he seems to think that you can't have an entertaining UFO show
Oh, of course not. It should all be extremely serious and never
You should all just be
deviate.
reading documents on the screen, really, and like
That's all we can do.
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you smile, you're basically canceled.
You're pretty much an evil asshole if you smile.
Yeah.
I'd be canceled right away.
Like our show would not
tell me not to smile, and that's like the thing I can't.
Our show would not get off the ground if that was the rules.
Oh yeah.
Off the ground.
No, neither would mine.
I'd get canceled straight away.
But no, I mean, the way I see it is, this.
I'm not giving high fives, people. Just so you know. Yeah, air fives.
It's your favorite thing.
It is my favorite. You know what? I like being
trying to autofocus a camera, so you slowly bring your hand towards yourself. For those of you that don't know.
Yeah. No, but
tip 101.
But with me, I mean, I think it's essential to have it entertaining. I think that's like one of the most important parts of having a YouTube show is to have it entertaining. That should be one of the main parts, especially when we're talking about this. I mean, it's a serious topic, but it's also a scary topic for some people too. I mean, we're talking about potentially shifting someone's paradigm 180 degrees.
Yeah.
That's what, and people forget that. I think people forget that we're living in an echo chamber of UFO Twitter most of the time, and we're not thinking about how would the average person who hasn't got any info about the topic, if they were just to be planted into UFO Twitter or to someone's YouTube channel to watch an interview, you need to make sure that your content is tailored to these sort of people.
No, absolutely. And if I came on my show and had people on my show and we just talked like, so do you understand that there's hybrids walking around right now, hybrids in your city, they're walking around, they're eating your food, they're breathing your air, there's an alien agenda, they are here. And if you don't take this seriously, you have lost your mind.
Yeah.
Who the fuck talks like that?
And that it's not as extreme as that on some channels, but it is the same sort of thing. It's sometimes I'll go on these channels and I'll look and see what people are doing, and it's great. Like the content's great for people like us who are kind of on UFO Twitter and know we know bits and bobs of the story. We don't have the whole picture, of course. There's no one who does, but we know parts of it.
Yeah.
But for someone who's new and doesn't have any idea about who Emalu Elizondo is, for example, you need to make sure that, and we try and do this on our shows now, is when we're asking questions or when we're explaining something, I'm trying to explain it in the simplest way possible. Yeah. I think that's important because I think especially the thing I've picked up on being from the UK, I mean, most of this is in the US. And especially if you're on UFO Twitter, the main focus seems to be the angle of like the government and how that side and how that's playing out and that angle. But if you're not from America and you don't know how the political system works and all the acronyms and everything else, it's very hard to be interested, for sure. I can imagine that's very difficult for people who don't know how things work. How are they going to get their foot in the door and start talking about it if they don't know how things work?
What the hell anybody's talking about?
So what's a FOIA?
Yeah.
So like even in Canada, like we don't have that. So it's like,
you guys, you don't, do you?
No.
Is Canada still under the crown? How does that work?
I don't know how it works.
I actually don't know.
Well, okay.
The good thing I'm not trying to be a Canadian. I'm just born in it.
I know that Canada's
I don't know.
Canada's part of the Commonwealth. I'm sure it is. So that means that, Queen's like the head of state, effectively.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean,
we do love the Brits. So.
I mean, the Queen in the UK, it's like the government.
Literally.
Yeah. So it's the best place in the world, the UK. No, it's not really. But,
no, just the best men in the world.
Of course, the best men.
No offense, Tony.
We don't take any crap in the UK, Tony. That's for sure.
That's actually true. And he's a Scorpio, so sometimes he does sting a bit.
Yeah.
Well, it's the hair.
Yeah.
It has a flavor of its own.
Gives me power, for sure.
Yeah.
So, like, one of the things that, like, I see in that I try to not be, like, the super serious podcast, and even when I have people who are, like Mick West on, and we just had a conversation, It's because I'm trying to like normalize the UFO topic and community, because you can't be like the UFO community's Alex Jones all the time and be like, they're turning the frogs gay every time that like something happens and just spitting off on these rants. You just can't do that. You got to take like a solid approach and just kind of ease into it and bring people into it. And you're never going to get people into this topic if you can't focus on other stuff at the same time.
Exactly.
So that's my biggest thing on it, because
I mean,
you're not going to get the normies to come into this if you're just like, hey, did you know the Palladians and the reptilians are at war with the insectoids, and that's why you see the triangular ships,
all these dimensions,
and that's why I thought it was essential. Well, not I wouldn't say essential, but on like UCR when John Ramirez was getting all, not you, John Ramirez didn't get the backlash, but UCR got the backlash.
Got the backlash,
for the questioning from Rava and stuff, and I think it's a difficult one. But for me, I mean, for me, we have to be asking these questions to people, and I know sometimes, some people can come across as disrespectful if someone gets offended on screen, but I don't think John Ramirez was even offended. I mean, I watched it twice. I watched it live, and then I watched it back the next day
with me
with Artemis, and
I fell asleep.
but I didn't see anything.
But I didn't think it was.
I really didn't.
No, and here's the thing:
interview if you can't ask them questions, and I mean, John was an ex-CIA. I think he can handle himself, but I think everybody else reacted so much more than he did. And even if he was offended, I think I said this on Daniel's show, that I think he would say something. And he seems also like the type of guy who probably said something behind closed doors respectfully to the actual interviewers, not just kind of blasting things on Twitter and like going into feuds, like I think there's a way to do things, even if you do feel like that interview was disrespectful or that you weren't taken seriously or whatever it was. There's ways to go around that as we're all learning. And I don't think you can watch the interview, and even if some things were disrespectful, you can also tell by the interviewers that they weren't trying to be. Like, they're genuinely interested in asking questions. So I think you have to remember, like, who's asking these questions, and what was the actual tone, and like, were they making fun of what he was saying? No, they were just, they were asking more questions and wanting to know more. They needed more to substantiate what he was saying.
I mean,
like what he was saying was, for like the average person, like really wild. It's like, okay, I need to know more. I need to ask more questions. Like, I need to figure out or like just make some like sense of this in your own head if this isn't what you're used to hearing. So I don't think that's wrong. And I think we can't be so intimidated to do that, because what's the point of having a show?
Yeah. Why even have a discussion if you're not willing to, when it's needed, go and ask those harder questions? Because I mean, if you're talking about human hybrids, I'm going to ask you some fucking hard questions. If that's what you're talking about. If you're like, I'm a CIA agent and these are the human hybrids that we blah, blah, blah. And I'm just going to go, okay, hold on, step up. Hold up, back up real quick. Let's start back over here. And the show would absolutely change directions. But if somebody came on saying stuff like that, but you have to understand that he's a retired CIA agent. These are not soft people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It would be like if I came on to
questions cracked him, I can't go on.
Yeah.
It would be like if I came onto your guys' show and you guys hounded me with questions nonstop for an hour, and people would be like, "Oh my God, they were so mean to Tony." I would be like, "No. What?
No, we're just talking."
Like, and I kind of knew what I was signing up for when I was going for an interview. When I was going to talk about these experiences that I've had and these things that I know.
I mean, I'm guessing John Ramirez. I'm presuming that he expected to be getting asked some questions. I mean, come on. I mean, it's pretty obvious.
So I know we just hit the hour mark. When are we switching over?
Well, our show's at 8 o'clock on our show. On our
So
channel.
we have
Yeah,
another hour.
Depends what you want to do, Tony.
Do you want to like take a break and then start at 8 again?
We can. Yeah. Do you guys want to take a break and then we'll?
Sure.
I mean, I can go for another like 10, 20 minutes before.
Yeah, we'll go for 10, 20 minutes and then we'll have a break for half an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of want to eat some things.
Yeah.
Food is for the weak.
Pardon?
I said food is for the weak.
Food is for the weak, yeah.
But I didn't eat dinner. It's upstairs.
Yeah.
So that's like my take on it. The whole, if you're not willing to have fun, your podcast kind of becomes unwatchable.
Yeah. This is the thing. And, we're doing YouTube channels. We have to make them entertaining, but there has to be a balance between entertainment and serious discussion at times. I do understand that, but I think when we're talking about the topic and all the possibilities of what this could be, it's a fun topic. So let's make it fun for people. Like, to me, it's obvious that that's what to keep people engaged, you need to make it entertaining for sure.
Singularity Lab.
Yeah.
Well, that's not cool. What did you do that?
Yeah, I mean, it's
hard.
Difficult.
I mean,
it is difficult.
Jazzed up with the topic. Sometimes he has been talked to.
Well, yeah,
about that.
And Jazz will be the first to admit. I mean, he said it on our show that he's not a UFO expert. He hasn't been doing this for long. His background isn't in UFOs at all. He's obviously a journalist, but he said on our show that it's not his main focus.
Right.
So that could be a reason, Brad. But yeah. Yeah, exactly. And so he was having connection issues. His screen wasn't. It was pixelated and like his audio, it wasn't clear and it was choppy and it wasn't coming through when it should. And like, I've been on shows like that when that's happened, when I've been speaking to someone from, a different part of the world and the signal's not good, and like you do talk over people, like, and it's not on purpose. It just happens. And that's the thing about we're doing, you're doing a live show, and the point of it being live is that things can go wrong and things are natural. It's not, so anything can happen, and people, I think most people who are complaining don't even do a show anyway. They're not even doing these shows themselves.
Well, and that's the thing. So they have like 4 people that are part, 3 or 4 people that are part of the show. And then you have 2 guests. So you got anywhere from 5 to 6 to 7 people, and you're trying to have a conversation. Anybody who's ever been in like a big Zoom conference call with like 7 or 8 people and you're talking to all these departments, your brain starts to melt because you're just like, oh my God, everybody starts talking over each other. And then they go, oh, sorry. Oh, no, go ahead.
Yeah.
And the conversation just turns to shit, which is why I don't like having a lot of people on my show. I just like a couple, so it can be a more closely monitored. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
there's a good balance. Like, I find that it's harder, or that you just don't know when to talk when you're on a bigger panel.
Yeah,
I've been on, like, we both have, where it's like a bigger panel even on YouTube, and I find unless I have something really interesting to say, I just don't interrupt. Because I'm like, there's too many other people. What if they have something better to say?
It's hard to get your foot in the door so you can speak sometimes. Yeah, it's hard.
It's a balance. But
it is.
That was also with confidence and stuff. Like, I just wouldn't speak if.
I mean, that goes back to the very first podcast I did, which was like Ladies' Night, and it was all y'all ladies.
That was so good, though.
And I was like, everybody was like, bottled water's just sitting there the whole time going, twiddling my thumbs.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. I'm sure it's not that bad to be the only guy. Come on.
Yeah, it was a good show, that as well.
I'm the only girl right now, actually.
Yeah. I mean, you'll have Amy tonight on our show. Alien Girl.
Yeah, and whoever comes on the stream. I don't mind, as long as we have. That's why it's so important for us to have at least one other like female opinion on our show.
Yeah.
Or voice on our show, because it just brings a different perspective to the topic. But no judgment that you're alone. Maybe you can get your wife on one.
I would love it.
That would be so cool.
Danielle, if she's still here,
this is your calling.
I can't wait to see the 4 hours of her getting ready.
I love it. She watched every show. I love it so much.
It's cool. It was really
fun.
Supportive of you. That's really cool.
You have a cool chick there.
Yeah, she's watched every show that I've done, and she's extremely supportive of it. Even though bottled water is just like the weirdest concept.
So funny. It's so random that it's epic.
Right.
Plus, I love how your friend's the one who designed the
the logo and everything. Yeah, he's a professional artist, and he did it for free because when he finished it, it was my birthday. So I was like, "Hey man, how much do I owe you for this?" And he was like, "Nah, it's your birthday." And I was like, "Come on." So he was just like, "Okay, no, it's your birthday here," and he sent it to me, and I was like, "Well, now I have a logo."
When's your birthday?
July 2nd.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm a freedom baby.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, how fun was that growing up, right around the 4th of July?
Oh, it's awesome because
mess up, like, your party. Actually.
That whole weekend is a party for me, and I love when it's on a weekend because I take it all off.
Mine's like May 24 weekend, so sometimes like with Victoria Day, that would kind of get.
What's that? Victoria Day?
Queen Elizabeth's birthday, or Queen somebody's birthday?
Queen
Victoria. I don't even know.
Queen whoever.
Fourth, whose birthday is that in England?
I'm from the UK. I didn't even know that. So
we have a whole holiday designated to it.
That shows you how often the royal family's discussed, which isn't. And this is
we have a holiday around
it's weird because when you go to people from outside the UK think the Queen is like such an important person, which she is, of course, but you never hear about her in like the UK. You never hear about them at all. It's always like,
meanwhile, they are all over our news.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah,
Middleton just wore. Or the Queen just said this.
Yeah, you will get those people like Prince Harry and stuff like that, but the Queen's very rarely.
Oh, you think Canada and the UK's politics are bad? Come look at our fucking shit show circus that we have.
The US,
The US to get my popcorn.
It's entertainment.
It's great.
That's politictainment for us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it doesn't matter who the president is.
Pointing
it
that
is
was
just psychotic all of the time.
It's crazy.
And it's funny because
one kooky president to another.
Yeah, it's funny because we claim to have freedom of press, and like press is supposed to be like unbiased and all this other stuff. But you can literally watch the headlines depending on which party is in power and how the press like navigates
the same story, but the headlines are different on each station. Yeah,
and you're just like, oh, for fuck's sakes. I'm like, why do we have a two-party system? Why do we have to be like this? I don't wish we had like 47 parties like the UK does.
Yeah, we've got so many now. It's crazy. Loads of them. There's even a legalized cannabis party now, which can run for elections and stuff. So yeah,
that would probably be popular there.
Yeah,
I wish America had a common sense party where where like it's all old, like older angry veterans, and they get asked a stupid question and they just go, no, why the fuck would you ask me that?
Yeah.
And like everyone just goes,
that's the kind of response you kind of want sometimes. You just want someone to tell you straight up,
Yeah, their Congress goes, well, we're going to raise taxes. And they go, no, you're not. Shut up. And just talk to them the way they should be talked to.
FWT party.
Because, American politics are a hellhole.
Yeah.
Yeah, but entertaining for the rest of the world.
I mean, what's like your thoughts on?
Just sad.
Yeah.
What's like your thoughts on like the future presidential campaigns and the UFO topic being a part of them? Do you think that could happen soon?
I think we're like 10 years away from the first politician running and including like the UFO topic in it. And then I think it'll compound from there depending on how well that goes.
Yeah.
But that's also assuming that Russia doesn't invade Ukraine at any moment now and cause a land war in Europe, which could be the catalyst for World War III.
Looks like the pieces are coming together on that. From what I've been reading, it's tensions are high there for sure.
Yeah, I tweeted yesterday about how for the first time the doomsday clock is 100 seconds for midnight, and that's the closest it's ever been to midnight. And I was like, oh, that's comforting.
That's nice to know. Yeah,
that's cool.
Nice to know, guys. Yeah.
And then people ask, like, why are they bringing up UFOs now? Why are they talking about aliens now? And I go, probably because the world is shit. And if they don't try to, hey, remember that thing we lied about for 80 years? Hey, let's talk about that. Well, I kind of want to know about X, Y, and Z, and why the hell is Russia about to invade a country?
Yeah. It's weird. I mean, what's like your thoughts on all these drone swarms which have been around Sweden and stuff? What's like your thoughts on that?
Around the nuclear power plants?
Yeah.
So I think it's important to understand when you see an article that says drone swarm.
Yeah.
That is a way to write an article about a subject without making the article about that subject.
Yeah.
Because there's no way in hell that commercial drones or military drones swarmed into a nuclear facility without them knowing it was coming.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a bunch of objects that appear above your facility, you say drone swarm, because if you tell the public UFO swarm above your nuclear power plant, they're going to go, I'm sorry, what did you just say?
Yeah.
But if you say drone swarm, they'll go, oh, maybe it was the Russians or the Germans or the Americans.
I mean, it's an interesting one because I think it was Benji who posted this. But he posted that it's now been handed over to Sweden's, basically equivalent to Sweden's intelligence community to look into it now. So the fact it's been passed to them from the police is interesting for sure.
Yeah, I mean that's probably along the lines of standard procedure for an incident like that, though, because once you're dealing with a nuclear facility, the police only have so much that they can even like go in there and do.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, but cops are very well trained for the most part, but you don't want some dumbass cop walking through a nuclear facility, going into places looking for shit when he has no idea what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
High fives.
No, I mean, Paul Bart versus UFOs.
High fives.
Fuck's sakes. I know I look like the biggest idiot. Everybody loves it in the chat.
Yeah.
That was for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in terms of the police, I mean, it'd be like Paul Bart, the mall cop, versus UFOs. That's what it would be if the police were doing this, Wouldn't end well for Paul Bart, that's for sure. I don't think.
Well, I just saw the hipster Vespa kids.
What's that called again?
Comment.
Oh, the Segway.
Segway. Oh, I've always wanted to try one. It'd be fun. I blame the hipster Vespa kids from the book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I think it's something that I kind of. So let me think. Stupid. Brandon Fugel was tweeting with somebody about Skinwalker Ranch and the cattle mutilations.
Yeah.
And they were talking about how it could be like a rogue special forces unit that's using it for scare tactics or intimidation tactics or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there and I was like, do you understand the gravity of that statement?
I mean, you can go further than that as well. You can go to the fake alien abductions with like the My Labs theory and stuff.
Yeah.
With the government and taking people, pretending it's an alien abduction when it's not. I mean, there's been plenty of cases with that as well. I mean, if it is the government who are, or some branch of like the army or something, who's taking these cows and doing this and dropping them, and in some cases dropping them from the sky, back to the ground with all the legs broken as well. That's what some people forget as well. That some of these cases of these cows, it's not the fact that they've had their blood drained and organs removed. All the bones are broken because they've been. It's consistent with like an injury from being dropped from like
40 to 50 feet.
So that's a weird one. It freaks me out a little bit. The cattle. What is going on there? It's strange. Yeah.
That's having been in the military, the U.S. military, and having worked with special forces on a couple of different training missions. Those guys are fast. They are scary fast, and they move fast with a lot of gear because that is all they do is train to do that. I was in a group of soldiers where we could do things extremely fast, but to move in unseen, kill an animal, remove its organs, pretty much dismember it in a way that is
like laser precision.
Yeah. And I think the mother cow had a broken leg as well. It was like limping on her hind leg was broken or something. And then the calf was completely removed of organs and blood, and it was just sitting there. And then they disappeared. And they did this all in like 30 minutes or something like that.
No one's ever been caught.
No one's ever been caught.
No one's ever been caught for doing
and
this.
I don't know
anywhere in the world that this happens. Well.
And I don't know if people have ever broken another person's bones before, but do you understand how hard it is to break a cow's leg?
I can't imagine. I can imagine cows' bones being huge. Well, not
they're
huge.
massive.
Milk.
Big, yeah.
They're
I mean, they get their calcium.
Yeah.
They have strong bones.
It would be extremely difficult for a person to break a cow's leg, especially a hind leg, without some type of assisted device that is going to make noise, that is going to draw attention.
Have you heard about the human mutilation cases before? The human ones?
No. I've heard of implants and stuff like that, but
there's a case in Brazil. I was going to bring it up tonight on our show, but there was a case in I think it was 1988 in Brazil. Can't remember the name of it. Was next to a reservoir in Brazil beginning with a G. That's the name of it. So it beginning with G anyway. But this was 1988, and there's pictures online of this guy. I'm not going to tell you to bring them up on screen because people would probably wouldn't be the best idea. Let's just say. But in your free time, you can check these out. But there's a really strange case, 1988 Brazil, human mutilation. Just look at that in your free time, and it's.
Oh, I will.
It's a weird one. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Let's we're at 6:20 my time, so 7:20 your time. Do you guys want to break for
half an hour or so?
An intermission, and then go ahead and send me the link. And at the top of the hour, I will be with you guys.
Brilliant. Yeah. Cheers, Tony, and thanks so much for having us on your show. We've had a great time with you. So
thanks for being on, and I can't wait to the other part of this.
Same.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait.
Cannot wait. Bring your whiskey.
Bring your whiskey.
Yep. That's for all of you in the chat.
Yeah.
Bring your whiskey to this one.
Definitely.
Is Kansas legal or not for weed?
No.
Oh.
But we do have CBD and Croton.
Right.
I thought you were going to say you have other ways to get it. I'm like, yeah.
Well, yeah, we're right next to Colorado.
Right, CBD, it's just as good as THC.
Yeah. Because they're actually allowed a small percentage of THC in some of the gummies.
A bit like the UK.
Yeah, and we didn't know that at first, and I was like, what the fuck? But no, it's totally legal.
Yeah.
Nice.
.03. She's got to yell as I see. She fucking put it in the
I
chat.
love it. I heard it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to throw you guys in the back. I'm going to do my outro, and then we'll see each other at the top of the hour.
Brilliant.
Sounds good.
Cheers, Tony.
We'll send you the link.
Thanks, guys, in the
All
chat.
right.
Everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Everybody in the chat, thank you.
We'll see you at 8 p.m. on the Josh and Artemis show. Everybody better be there. We'll know.
I will know.
We will know. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
Well, that is the end of episode 5. That is 5 in German. And is it episode 5? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's episode 5. Great time. I always love talking to those two. I just, like I said, it's not going to be a huge UFO conversation because I'm just having a huge conversation with my friends. So I will see you guys at the top of the hour, which is 7 for me, maybe 8 for you, or 5 or 4. I don't know what part of the world you're in. So it's apparently somebody from Australia watches me. Sorry that you're in Australia, but I will see everybody later. Thank you for watching. Next week, I have the Generation Z podcast, and I'm going to stop talking, and I will see you guys later. Peace. Now I have to leave I have to end the broadcast.